Hello. Who was David? Who was David in 1 Samuel? David was from the house and line of Judah. Judah was his tribe. As we go back to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Jacob's son Judah was a founder of the tribe that David was part of. We know that David's dad, Jesse, his dad was Obed, and his parents were Ruth and Boaz. Ruth was a Moabite. When David's family got into difficulty and he was fleeing Saul, he took his parents to be looked after by the king of the Moabites, which is understandable as they were relations. So David was the youngest of the 8 sons of Jesse of Bethlehem. David would have done the chores, he would have looked after the sheep, and when we think of the if you see the slipper here on the bottom left, think of Cinderella. So Cinderella wasn't really intended to go to the ball according to her family, and when they came round trying to see who would fit in the slipper to who would marry the prince, again no one considered Cinderella. Well, God had sent Samuel to anoint as king, as future king of Israel, one of Jesse's sons. Samuel had gone to the eldest, and God had said, no, I don't look at their outward appearance. I look at people's heart. I look at what they're like on the inside, what their character's like. And they went through all of Jesse's sons and couldn't understand it because God had chosen none of them, except that David hadn't even been thought worth considering by his family, and he was left outside looking after the sheep. And here's a picture at the top of, meant to be of Jesus, who's also called the Good Shepherd, who would look after sheep. In one of the pictures here, David's holding some sort of a harp, and David became very skilled at playing the harp. I can imagine him sitting under a tree, watching his sheep, playing the harp, and he wrote a number of songs. And in the Bible there are songs, they're referred to as psalms, and in the book of Psalms, and these are said to originate from David. And we know that David was employed playing the harp for Saul. David is known throughout 1 Samuel as someone who sought after God, who sought to do God's will, who desired to hear from God. And David's also known for fighting Goliath. We can do a separate video. People argue about how one-sided was it really? Was it really as it appears in the Bible? Well, what we do know is that no one wanted to fight Goliath. Clearly he was thought to be a well-able, a well-equipped soldier who would have easily beaten any opposition. So I think it's fair to say that David had to save the day, and it was through his faith in God that he used a slingshot. And I've got an image here of a catapult, what might have been a Roman catapult. Of course, that's nothing like what David had. David had a slingshot or some sort of a catapult where he would have propelled the stone at speed that hit Goliath and knocked him to the ground. and there's also many people have done artistic works, and here's a shot of one of those of someone's thought of what David might have looked like. And David in some ways is the hero of 1 Samuel in terms of faith, in terms of someone who seeks to do God's will. He had a couple of occasions where he could have forcibly taken the kingship from Saul. He could have killed Saul and taken over, but he chose not to. He chose instead to wait for God's timing. I'll do another video later on about the David of 2 Samuel. Of course, it's the same David, but we find out some different things about David in 2 Samuel. Okay, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you.